food, baseball food, pizza, wings, and beer. You know, you can bring your kids in and, you know, they can play pool or play the video games, or they can sit with you and watch TV too, because you got the TVs in every dining room. It's such a place that you can come in with your family and sit down. And again, it's family oriented because it's family owned. When you walk in here, it's like a TV show, Cheers. Everybody knows your name. And you can expect that from in here because everybody knows everybody else.
It's the midweek edition of the Sideline Guys here on sidelineguys.recordernews.com. As always, alongside Mark Robarge, I'm Adam Schinder, and just a couple of hours ago, the NCAA tournament got underway in earnest. We had the first four, as they like to call it now, Tuesday and Wednesday night. We've got a couple finals already.
We've dragged ourselves away from the TV just long enough to cut this for you folks.
Yeah, but what we're really concerned about doesn't take place until the very last game of the round of 64. Tomorrow night, somewhere around the rather exact time of 9:57 p.m.
Which means anywhere between 9:45 and 10:45.
Yeah, on True TV, which can be found channel 50, standard definition on Time Warner Cable, and just added channel 1744 in high def for HD snobs like me.
And me.
Yeah, but
nothing like watching basketball in high def.
In the East region, from Cleveland, the number 3 seed Syracuse, the number 14 seed Indiana State, as the Orange start yet another run to try and get back to Jim Boeheim's fourth Final Four.
And neither one of us have them getting to the Final Four. I think I have them going a little bit farther than you, but I think we're both pretty much agreed that not going to be too much of a test tomorrow night.
No, I did a little looking at the Sycamores. The best news for Syracuse: this is not 1979. Larry Bird does not suit up for Indiana State anymore. He would be a guy who would be a major threat against this Syracuse 2-3 zone. I do not see this team, Indiana State. They've only got one guy, Dwayne Lathan, averaging double figures at 11 points a game. They were third in a pretty decent Missouri Valley Conference, and they're on a bit of a roll right now. But they are not a team that scores a lot. They are not a team that shoots very well from three-point range as a team. That's not the kind of team that pulls an upset in this tournament.
No, and I'll tell you what, if Jim Boeheim does as I expect him to do tomorrow night, I see this as the perfect opportunity to continue to refine the use of the two big guys down low. By Musikita, Fab Melo. Fab has looked a lot better, a lot closer to Fab over the last couple of weeks. By Musikita has been really impressive to me as a freshman. I think that using this as an opportunity to get them more time, get them working together a little bit more, I'd like to see as well. And they could be truly a force that could really help Syracuse as they get farther into the tournament.
It's also going to be important to get the three main bench guys who aren't big guys. So get Dion Waiters, James Sutherland, and C.J. Fair really into the swing of things, because you cannot win in the NCAA tournament with a short bench. They need these guys, especially a guy like Sutherland, who has been such a streaky shooter and a streaky player overall. They need to get him going. He could be, if he starts hitting threes, he's the guy who, coming off the bench, could be the big sleeper if they move a little further down the tournament.
And I know we've both been impressed, especially later in the season with C.J. Fair's performance. Waiter's also looking pretty good as well. I mean, you're talking two freshmen here, but at this time of the year, I know it's a cliche, but it's accurate. At this time of the year, nobody's a freshman anymore.
No one's really a freshman anymore. But I think we can also both agree that the guy Syracuse's fate is going to come down to is the guy I think every Syracuse fan has a love-hate relationship with.
And we're no different.
Yeah,
Scoop Jardine.
Scoop is, and no game personified it better than last Friday night in the Big East semis against Connecticut, when the team is just about dead with 45 seconds to go, banks in a three to make it to close the gap, then hits another three with 4 seconds left to force overtime, and then in overtime, Scoop gives you the other side of Scoop. Just completely owns the ball, makes some big mistakes, turns the ball over. He's the best of both, the best and worst of the world.
In a lot of ways, and you old-timers might go back and remember this one, he reminds me in a lot of ways of Pro Washington. Pro was very much the same way, would make those high-risk moves. I think the only difference was Pro was just a little more talented, and he could get away with some of the stuff that Scoop tries but doesn't quite succeed with.
Yeah, when Scoop takes over the game in a good way, he can do it like few guys in the country can. there's just those moments when Scoop goes Scoop, and you know it by the looks on Boeheim's faces when he gets the arms folded, when he gets that look on his face. I actually happened to tune in yesterday on HBO. They were showing the movie Blue Chips, and you see Jim Boeheim back in about 1993, 1994. I do hope Jim doesn't go with some of the ties he was wearing in that movie.
No, but that look you talk about, that goes back to the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can remember that in the days of Marty Head and the Louie and Bowie show.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this matchup, and those 3-14 games can be those are some upset specials sometimes, but I think the biggest danger for Syracuse, and I even think the biggest danger maybe until past the Sweet 16, would be either team they run into. They already lost to Marquette on the road, but possibly playing a 6-seeded Xavier team in Cleveland, which is far closer to Xavier's home turf. That's a dangerous game because the Musketeers never lose on the opening weekend.
I know, and you've got them knocking out Syracuse. I think Syracuse has the talent to survive. I definitely think they have the talent if they end up facing Marquette. I think that loss was a fluke. I think that was more Syracuse slumping than Marquette showing its talent. I don't think you need to see that happening. Xavier, obviously going to be interesting to watch for those of us who are local basketball fans because Schenectady product Mark Lyons is on that team as well. But I know you're concerned. I don't think I am. I think Syracuse has gotten through the swoon that they had in the midseason, and I think they're on an up again. Connecticut loss notwithstanding, remember you ran into a red-hot Connecticut team there. I don't put that loss as much on Syracuse as I do on Connecticut being red-hot. I think Syracuse's problems come farther along when they take on the big boys, specifically I've got them going out to North Carolina in the Sweet 16.
Yeah, North Carolina is an interesting team down the road, especially because of the matchups Harrison Barnes can pose on the wing.
Absolutely.
And how well Kendall Marshall is playing at the point. The reason, twofold, I've been bitten so many times in brackets by Xavier in the past. They always seem to end up in the Sweet 16. And right now, Tu Holloway is a guy who, if you're looking for a guy to be this year's version of Steph Curry, who's not Jimmer Fredette, people already know how great Jimmer Fredette has been this year.
Yeah.
Tu Holloway is the guy who can really become that guy who can score 60 points in a 2-game stretch, take that team to a Sweet 16. Xavier is that mid-major that is no longer a mid-major out of the A10. And speaking of our divergence on these brackets, I know you've got no 1 seeds advancing. I've got 3 1 seeds and a 5 advancing. Well,
I hate betting chalk.
Well, we've decided to we're putting our pride where our mouths are. As some of our loyal followers might know, Mark, a devotee of the New York Giants. I am a Philadelphia Eagles fan, so we've got our brackets up in the Sideline Guys Bracket Challenge, and in addition to our first prize of a year's subscription to the Recorder, print and online, we've got a little wager. Whose ever bracket wins, the loser will wear, if Mark loses, he's wearing a Philadelphia Eagles jersey. I've got a Deshaun Jackson jersey already.
And I'm going to go old school. Adam's going to be, I'm not going to say if I win because I'm going to win. Adam's going to be wearing my classic LT jersey.
That'll be at least it's someone I respect. That's at least I can say that.
So that'll be a lot of fun. What we'll do is the loser will be wearing that jersey on the episode of the webcast of the Sideline Guys immediately following the national championship game. Maybe sooner if I clinch earlier.
And if and when I am victorious, we're going to have to find a little bit of a different place because I've got my Eagles jersey is midnight green, and we're filming in front of our brand new green screen. That none of you are actually seeing.
That's okay, you know. I have no problem with a picture of like Crystal Ristorante showing up across the chest of my jersey instead of an eagle.
If we do that, we may have to take a photo and post it up on the Sideline Guys blog. We need some proof.
Oh, well, this could be a lot of fun. It's not Mike and Mike, but you know what? We'll have fun with it as well. Hey, want to switch gears quickly? I know I'm a Major League Baseball fan in more ways than one, and I know you are as well, and we have yet to have the opportunity to talk spring training yet. We're 3 weeks in. It's 60 degrees outside right now as we tape. What better time to start thinking about America's pastime?
Yeah, and you look at the two teams that are most closely followed around here, the Mets and Yankees, and these are 2 teams that in their own different ways are both going through some, not necessarily some turmoil, but definitely some, they've got some major questions in spring training. And with the Yankees, it's no further than you've got 3 starting pitchers, and who are the next 2?
Exactly. I mean, there's no doubt you've got A.J. Burnett, Phil Hughes, and CeCe Sabathia lead your rotation, no doubt. But it's like in the old days, for people who go way back, it was Spahn and Sain and pray for rain. Here it's Burnett, Hughes, Sabathia and pray for a thunderstorm and maybe a tornado. There's just no answers out there. They brought into camp as non-roster invitees Bartolo Colon, who actually has not looked too bad. He's been able to get his velocity up into the low 90s, has been locating the ball really well. Freddie Garcia, another travel journeyman pitcher. And then you've got a bunch of the young kids. You've got Ivan Nova, who pitched out of the bullpen last year, showed some flashes of brilliance. You've got Sergio Mitre, who has kind of stepped in as a spot starter over the last couple of years, more out of the bullpen as well. The thing is if they can find somebody really who can just get them into the fifth inning, they'll be in not bad shape because they've got a great bullpen. You've got Mariano Rivera, still, I hate to say it as a lifelong Red Sox fan, the best closer in the game, as well as Joba Chamberlain to set him up, and bringing in Rafael Soriano.
Yeah, plus Pedro Feliciano in the back end of that bullpen. The Yankees can be those 2 other days of the week a 5 or 6 inning starter team, and you'd have to think they'll give Nova one of those 2 spots.
I would think so. I think that would be the smart thing to do. You like to develop your own starters.
And then I think they'd prefer to go with one of those veterans coming in, and then you have Mitre as a possibility, as a guy who can come into the season as your long man, and then make the spot start. You move over to the Mets. Mets have some strength in the back end of that rotation as well. The middle of it, or what
will be the front end.
What will be the front end to start out? R.A. Dickey was one of the surprises of all of last year, the knuckleballer.
Mike Pelfrey, an all-star,
and they're high on Jonathan Neese as well. And you've got some interesting storylines across the rest of baseball. The Red Sox looking very strong.
Your Phillies looking with the best rotation since the '70 Orioles.
But we've got plenty more. We'll talk plenty about baseball and high school baseball as it approaches. But for now, we will see you again on Monday. For Mark, I'm Adam. We're the Sideline Guys, and we'll see you next time here at SidelineGuys.recordernews.com.